G'day and welcome to the final episode of us making a Smallsword together. It has been a little bit since my last video on the topic, Christmas actually. Now, I have for the most part not been idle. We have been working, we've been practicing our engraving because the last thing that we're doing on this build is to finish the handguard. On the previous one, I just did some basic piercing, riveted onto a brass backing, lovely, schmick, span, fresh wet. But I would like to do something a little prettier. So again, we learned engraving. If you want to see me get started on that process, the last video I uploaded is all on that topic. Now, if you'd like to stay up to date with future occurrences, please feel free to chuck us a subscribe. If you hate everything about me, give it a comment. I don't mind. Engagement's engagement. Can't complain. Now, there are a few other things we have to do. I don't like the grip. Let's redo that. There are some finishing we got to do. Other than that, the main bulk of this episode is going to be making that immaculate handguard. So let's jump straight into it. The first thing is we're going to put all of our practice for the last 6 months to a year into that handguard. Let's go. So this whole procedure was absolutely terrifying. If I make a big enough mistake at any point during the procedure, I am going to have to start the whole thing again. Fortunately, that didn't happen. I think the takeaways from this are that I need to be better at sharpening my gravers. So I think I'm going to have to redo the templates at some point. Those are hot trash. So either I have to buy myself maybe the Lindsay system. There's also those ones from GRS, and then they have some knockoffs of those. That'd be great. So we'll think about that down the road. In any case, the other big takeaway is that the equipment I'm using sucks. The chisel that I have is really heavy. It's pretty much just a solid block of bronze. It's also pretty cumbersome. I don't have good edge alignment on it. I can't feel where I'm at. And also I just don't like the whole hammering thing. So in the future, we're gonna look at dealing with that as a problem. Foreshadowing, because this is recorded afterwards. So we have all the engraving done, but I want that brass to really pop. And it's a little hard to do that when it's covered in a crapload of steel. So at the moment, we're drilling some holes, and those are going to be the basis of the piercing work that we're going to do. If you need an explanation, piercing is just sawing out material from the inside of a piece of work. I'll put a picture of some really nice stuff that I want to copy at some point, but that is way down the road. For now, all we're going to do is put these holes in, grab our jeweler's saw, and start hacking away a bunch of material. We want to get as close as we can to the bottom of the V that we cut with our graver, because that means there will be a lot less file work to do afterwards. central hole, and all the rivet holes are finally drilled. I'll give a close-up when it's actually properly done, but now we need to slap a brass backing on the other side, which is probably going to be a pain in the ass, but I think we'll survive. And then all we got to do is file out the tang hole, which is another one that's going to be difficult because I need to make it square, but square to the cross-guardy bit and not to the blade, which I'm still struggling to figure out how I'm going to do. We'll get there. Anyway, so let's do the brass bit first, get that on here, then we can think about filing it out. Anyway, let's do that. Okay, just then you saw me absolutely goddamn struggling to drill through these two holes. So I decided, let's Google drilling through brass, because that's what this is. And holy crap, I found a click spring video that said to grind a little bit off the cutting edge of the drill bit. So drill bit, oh god, it's not gonna focus. Yeah, so drill bit, what I did was I put it on here, kind of parallel with the blade there, gave it a couple of strokes, and oh my god, that works so damn well. Like the chips come out as spirals rather than the crappy little things before. It cuts through in like a second. Holy shit, life changed. I didn't realize that was going to be a thing. Anyway, back to cutting. So we are putting all these pins through. I say pins, they're bolts. We're putting all these bolts through because I want to make sure that when we put the rivets through that they are in the correct positions, which is quite important. This has a slight curve to it. So when we start putting rivets through, for example, if I started the rivets here on either side, riveted those in, what would happen is that the underside would be a straight line between those 2 points. We want to avoid that kind of like stretched out energy to it. So I'm putting these pins through, tightening them up so that we can put the rivets through and be quite contented how the whole thing lines up. I'll drill these 2 holes off screen, I'll teleport to cutting it out, and with any luck we'll be riveting soon. Cool, that's been cut out. All we gotta do now is file back the edges. That'll be easy. The handguard's nearly complete. All we've got to do now is slap in the rivets. We're going for 2 copper ones in the middle here, and then the 3 on either side are going to be brass. The process for this is a pain in the ass, but I've kind of got a little bit of a setup going here. I made a couple of these, which are dies for the tops of the rivets. Here is a practice piece I did earlier. So, as we can see there, hopefully, there is a rivet showing through the top that is not flat. That is because I made these with a small concave hole in the top, and that will go in the vise. We will then put this on the top like that. I have then got some punches, which are literally just some cheap punches from a local hardware store. I then filed back the top so that there was more of a light concave rather than the full half sphere dome. That will go on there. The other side of the rivet, which is going to be the long side, that is going to, I really hope this is visible. If not, I'm going to be showing a picture to demonstrate. That this is going to be cut to the correct length. We're then going to put this on that side and dome it over. Unfortunately for this whole process, I felt as though I had to finish this first before doing the rivets, which is frustrating because there is a chance I fuck this up. Now, that would be heartbreaking, I'll be honest. So we're going to take this really slowly, incredibly carefully. So with any luck, we won't do any damage, and any damage we can do requires just a little bit of cold glue in order to hide it. In any case, I guess we better get started. I've just finished what is by far the absolute worst job in the entire production process of any of these swords so far, and that is, if I put the camera in the correct direction, filing the tang hole straight. No, filing the tang hole square is what I meant to say. So, the thing with these, and I mentioned this in a previous video, is that the tang for a FA blade has a square section, which is good because it stops the handle from spinning while it is all stuck together. Now, the problem for me though is that this is quite a long piece of steel to need to file square. I've done this I think 3 times at this point now, and it is tedious, it is painful, and I think in the future I really want to make a brooch for this thing. That said, we are finished it now. Just to quickly explain how this whole thing works. Find that needle files tend to be the best course of action. Having a little square one like this, these are just in any of the generic needle file packs you can get. Stuff this in there. The shadows, if the shadow's a bit annoying, it's because I'm wearing a headlamp right now. Anyway, so yeah, you start with your circle hole. You want to mark out approximately where you want to finish. It's not really going to show up. This used to have a nice bit of black ink over the top, but you mark out where your square is going to be, and then you do your very best to keep your file straight up and down as it goes through that hole. I have never succeeded in doing this quickly, which might occur if I was to actually have a steady hand and could keep it going up and down nice and straight. However, I don't have that, so it requires a lot of work, but the end result is that this now fits in here. There's a little bit of a gap which disappears when it's tightened, but we do actually want a bit of a gap because we still haven't fit the handguard in there. So we probably should have filmed this, but I have redone the handle. The old one looked like absolute trash. However, we remade the wood, just got another bit of red gum from the store. We then made a new spacer in the middle, which I think is looking pretty good. There's a few gaps here and there, but I think that's mainly because of the bit of copper that I use, annoyingly, but I can always just redo that. The things I did differently with this one though was that I was very careful when sanding down the facets on it. So it's got like these nice sort of grooves on the sides that kind of fit nicely in the thumb. That feels a lot better than the tube sort of shape that I have before. The other thing I didn't like about the other one was that the spacer was so far down. I think I was trying to go for the spacer in the middle, but I completely missed and had it kind of somewhere here. Anyway, what we did then was we slapped some shellac in some acetone, which apparently is incorrect, and that I should be using denatured alcohol. So I have that going over here. I then added that with a cloth, which is all this crap here, sanded it back, and we added another layer, did the same thing, added another layer. I might give it another go with the denatured alcohol version when we're done that. However, we are happy with the outcome. Also that bit there. So what we did was glue the spaces into the wood. We'll jump over to the next bit. Thank you so much for waiting so long to see the end of this project. This is a very nice small sword. It feels incredible in the hand, and I am super looking forward to using it, which I have for the last 6 months. Yeah, this project was done a long time ago. I've just been so lazy with the editing and the upload. This outro was filmed about 3 months after the intro, so I am very sorry for that. That said, in the new year, we are hoping to massively increase the upload schedule. I have maybe like 3 to 5 projects currently ongoing. We're working on some R&D for blades, some not so HEMA blades, obviously some new swords. This dagger is one of the things I'm looking forward to finishing finally. And finally, we are also working on some technologies for engraving. So that is coming along a lot more than I thought it would be. So tune in for that. If you are keen to see any of that sort of stuff, please do drop us a like and subscribe. I promise I will upload sooner than I did last time. The next year should be a much better upload schedule. So, thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for your patience. And I am looking forward to seeing you in the next one.